G'day viewers, how are you? End of another week. Weekend my time, so a bit late with TFU Friday, but better late than never, celebrating with a nuclear hurricane. Nuclear hurricane. Particularly tasty cocktail I invented on a live stream this week. It's a variant on a traditional tiki cocktail, the hurricane, with slightly different ingredients, but with the addition of 80% alcohol absinthe. Very tasty. Inspired, of course, by the story that came out about Donald Trump apparently asking the big questions. Why can't I use nuclear weapons to stop hurricanes? That's special. That's special that he asked that question. That's special that he's a thinker at that level, and it's special that he's surrounded by people whose sole job seems to be just to distract him from ridiculous fucking shit he says. And goes, yeah, I'll look into that. And then trust in that his fucking decaying brain will forget he ever brought it up. But of course, on the topic of hurricanes, Hurricane Dorian bearing down, looks like it's going to hit Florida. It might miss. We can hope. I have to admit, I've got a very specific fear about Hurricane Dorian. Well, okay, a couple. One, I really don't want it to hit Florida and smash shit up and hurt and kill a bunch of people. That will be bad. But on a different sort of existential level, I have a deep fear about Hurricane Dorian hitting Florida, smashing the shit out of a bunch of stuff, but sparing Trump's shithole, Mar-a-Lago, which would then inspire the really fucking disturbing freaks who keep declaring Trump was sent by God. They'll say, it's a sign, and they're already insane, and they're already behaving in extremely unhinged ways. But I am really deeply concerned about how these people might behave if Hurricane Dorian makes landfall in Florida, does a lot of damage, but spares Mar-a-Lago. It really doesn't bear thinking how fucked up these people could get, which is probably why I keep drinking nuclear hurricanes to forget about them. But Trump generally has done the usual, being utterly fucked. Him and his fucking regime being utterly fucked. Like, Trump openly praised and supported the fascist who runs Brazil at the moment, Bolsonaro, saying, people tacitly and actively supported by Bolsonaro are burning the Amazon to clear it for farming. It's very important. When people have been spreading stuff about, the Amazon's fire, it's been like this subtext of it's spontaneously happening. Like maybe this is a result of global warming and climate change, and the reason the Amazon is burning is because we're not taking enough care to stop it. No, the fires are being deliberately lit. The people doing it are actively supported by Bolsonaro. The indigenous people who are facing genocide as a result are people that Bolsonaro wants wiped out. And Trump actively supported this rancid piece of shit, which is utterly predictable. It's just one in a chain of Trump actively and directly supporting fascists, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists. There's some really fucking freaky stories that came out recently. Like Trump unveiled a logo for his re-election campaign, the Keep America Great thing. And it's this lion, and that lion crest is actually specifically used by a white supremacist crypto-fascist group. And it's like, he is just directly saying to the white supremacists, to the fascists, to the neo-Nazis, saying, no, I am absolutely your guy. And it was also uncovered by someone, the fucking Homeland Security website posted some stuff about the border wall that was phrased to deliberately echo the neo-Nazi code 1488. You may or may not be familiar with it. You may have seen people use it in their username in various forums online. If you're not aware of it, if someone uses 1488 or, either 14 words or 88 in anything online, they're openly fucking praising Hitler. There's the thing with the 14 words, which I'm not going to go into, is basically we must preserve the future for our white children. And there was this fucking article published on the Homeland Security page that we must preserve the border. It's basically directly echoing this Nazi catchphrase, and they even made sure to put 88 in there as well. The headline was echoing the 14 words, and they managed to put 8, and it's just like they're saying the quiet parts out loud. This keeps happening. It's like they're so emboldened. It's just like, oh look, we've actively supported murderers. We've actively supported the racists, the neo-Nazis, the fucking psychopaths. Let's just put it on our website. Let's just put stuff that is clearly actively endorsing neo-Nazi propaganda on a government website. Because it's like, fuck. And probably anything worse than this, in my mind, when I think about how fucked things are with the Trump and his administration, is how much he likes the Australian government's stance on asylum seekers. Namely, completely demonising them and trying to stop them from ever going through the proper processes of claiming asylum. It's just fucked. And while, me being me, the lefty, has the tendency to attack the Conservative parties in Australia, the Liberal National Coalition, and at least tacitly, sometimes openly support the Labor Party. The Labor Party is no better than the Conservatives on this. They are spineless, worthless fucking scum. This country's been dragged down into the fucking gutter since John Howard in the 90s made racism a central part of politics here, and no major political party has done anything to fight against it since, and it fucking sucks. Like, there was a specific story. Like, generally the policy is fucked, but every now and then in Australia we see some of the specifics. There's this Tamil family that the government wants to throw out. They came in seeking asylum. In fact, the mother and father came in separately, met while in detention, and against all odds fell in love. And they actually had 2 daughters who were born in Australia. And see, we don't have a similar constitutional thing. The US has a part of the Constitution that says if you're born in the US, you're a US citizen. And the racists and extreme right-wingers are very angry about that and want to change it, even though it's in the Constitution. See, apparently the Second Amendment about the guns, that's in the Constitution, so it can't possibly be changed. The other amendment to the Constitution that refers to if you're born in America, you're an American citizen, they're definitely okay with changing that. I'm not suggesting they're lying, racist, hypocritical scum, but they're obviously lying, racist, hypocritical scum. But see, we don't even have that in the Constitution in Australia, because our Constitution is shit, quite honestly. But yeah, so even though this family has 2 daughters who were born in Australia, because they've been in various either in the community or in detention in Australia for a while now. And now, under the direction of the fascist potato Peter Dutton, they're being sent back to Sri Lanka. And see, this is important. There's this fun term called refoulement, and it sounds bad, but the reality of it is even worse. It's basically when someone flees persecution, when someone flees in fear of their life, and pleads for asylum, the country they land in not only refuses asylum, but sends them back to the people who are going to kill them. And this is the case of Tamil people in Sri Lanka. And Peter Dutton, being the absolute fucking piece of shit he is, refuses to acknowledge that that's an obvious real thing, and the fact that they've got kids, and 2 of their kids were born in Australia, and you maybe should take some responsibility for them. No, but these people, they even settled in this country town in Queensland. I'm probably pronouncing the town name wrong, Billowella. What was hilarious to me, because I grew up in country New South Wales, and when I hear, it's like, you always get this stuff, there's this weird contradictory series of lies told about asylum seekers. One is, oh, they're worthless, spineless, sponging off the government people, and they're taking our jobs. You can't do both. Now, these people became a very valued part of the community. The father, like he was working at the meatworks, he was a skilled worker working in an area that lacked skilled workers. Both he and his wife volunteered in community welfare groups like St. Vinny's, and they made food for a food kitchen, and basically they were quite treasured by their local community in this town of Biloela. And when I was reading one of the articles, the locals saying how angry they are at how the government's basically dragged them off in the dead of night, put them in detention, and then when they were expecting to get an extension to their visa, the government's dragged them onto a flight and was going to export them. It's very complicated. The short version is the government are being fucking assholes about it. And the local community, seeing people from this Queensland town going, we're a polite town, but the rage happening is something else. And like I said, I grew up in country towns. And when country town people say, we're polite, but we're feeling rage, they're basically saying, Dutton, we will fucking cut you, you motherfucker. And it's like, dude. This is not like inner city trendy lefties saying in the abstract they want to support asylum seekers, but they don't want them living next door and they don't want to deal with anything. This is a small community that lovingly welcomed them in and is super fucking angry at how they're being treated. And I'm just getting the vibe they're not really people you should be fucking with. I mean, Peter Dutton's never one to actually consider anyone else's viewpoint or think about humanity at all. But I think I just get a vibe he's picking the wrong people in this fight. But we shall see. But, also solidly behind him is fucking scummo happy clapper Prime Minister. Oh, my God, how good is he as a Prime Minister? It's just like, oh, my God, this guy sucks so much. There was this utterly absurd story during the week. It was like some government department had a sign, in their workplace on the toilets in the workplace that just said, hey, use the toilet that best suits your gender identity. Now, from what I read, it was this shithead journalist by the name of Chris Ullman, who used to work with the ABC and I think now works for a commercial network. But he's one of those fucking garbage people who says, I'm the voice of reason. I'm completely reasonable, but then just fucks over anyone he disagrees with. And he posted this picture, and it causes her. And so, Scummer, the actual Prime Minister, got involved in this fucking little office that just said, hey, use the toilet that suits your gender identity. And the fucking Prime Minister stepped in and said, I'm going to get that changed. This is the government of small... Now, this is the party of small government. This is the party that says government shouldn't interfere with your day-to-day life. The fucking Prime Minister steps in and says, oh no, I'm going to get involved in the internal policies in this one fucking office and demand that they change things because I don't like the idea of recognising trans people. And it's just like... the shameless hypocrisy of these. It would be one thing if I just disagree, and I do disagree with almost every policy of this government. It'd be one thing if I just disagreed, but they contradict themselves continually. Their hypocrisy is what really fucking drives me wild. It's like we saw a suggestion of their Religious Freedom Act. They want to bring into law something to balance anti-discrimination laws, something to protect religious freedom. And this is basically unwinnable for them. Because the short version of what they want Christians to be able to actively discriminate against gay, bi, trans people. Okay? That's the shorthand. That's the long and the short, the beginning, middle, and end. They want self-identified Christians to be able to actively discriminate against the queers. But they can't write a law that says, and they're trying to go, if it's a deeply held religious belief. Well, then again, then the religions you don't like, the Muslims, they get included in that protection as well. So hyper-conservative Muslims with really fucked views can be sheltered by this same law. So we're now looking at the thing of this government putting in a vague, badly worded, unworkable law, and they're caught between the rock and the hard place of trying to decide as who do they hate more? Do they hate the gays more or the Muslims more? Because they, one way or the other, they're either favouring the gays or favouring the Muslims. Like, this ridiculous religious freedom law was, it was just like a sop to the extreme fucking right, like, because they got shat on in their face with the marriage equality vote. A significant majority of Australians were in favour of marriage equality. So it's like, they were super upset. So like, oh, we'll put something in that says you're still allowed to treat the gays like shit. But they can't just say, oh, only Christians. It's like hyper-conservative Muslims or Jewish people or any other thing. You can't actually do that separation. So this is going to blow up in their face. And also, if it ever hits the courts, I mean, honestly, you know what judges love? Judges love badly worded, ambiguous law that's about making political points, not really helping people. And the judicial system is going to be super kind to this bit of dumb fuckery by the government. But hey, you know, that's the world we live in. Shit on asylum seekers, shit on every minority. The Labor Party are weak as piss, and there's no way they get there to hold their head up in this debate with the shitty treatment of asylum seekers, Indigenous people, any minorities. You know, it's basically the way I can tell this country is fucked is Donald Trump thinks the government policies are something to be admired.